Hey, everybody. Marty here from watchQuant.com, and I have a special guest with me today, Gustavo. What's up, Gus?
Hey, how's it going? I'm glad to be here. I'm excited about this little segment we got going on.
Yeah, yeah. This is our official first ever YouTube video to be. So quite excited about that myself. And yeah, so today we're going shopping, eh?
Yes, sir, that's right. We're going to be taking a look at some solid gold watches out there. Um, Doing some analysis of some prices, seeing if WatchQuant data is reasonable and fair. And we're going to be taking the approach of the good old fashioned way, just like everyone else.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're gonna look for some solid gold watches, and we're gonna look hopefully in the same channels that most people look, probably eBay and maybe some forums, Reddit, things of that sort, where most people are looking. And then we're gonna go ahead and compare those numbers against our own models, right? So we have our own application called WatchQuant, which is why I do this, why we're here, why Gustavo's here. And by the way, if anybody hasn't met Gustavo, he's been the guy writing all the macro and super smart stuff you're seeing coming out of our emails and posts. So thank you for that, Gus. Greatly appreciate it. So all right, let's just get into it, man. We are going to go ahead and start looking at some watches. I chose two watches. You chose two watches. What are we doing today? Which watches?
Yeah, so I chose the John Mayer Daytona, which has been a really interesting piece, especially after it's discontinued at Watches and Wonders this year. So the prices on it have been fluctuating a lot recently. I think it's worth taking a look at and seeing what's really going on behind the scenes with it. Um, and then also the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5981R, the rose gold brick, heavy hitting um, piece right there, which I'm really excited to look at. We'll be primarily focusing on the brown dial ones. Um, and yeah. Which ones do you have?
I'm going to be looking at the Omega Moonshine Green Dial. So I'm not sure if it's a special edition. It doesn't seem like it actually is, but it's basically their new Speedmaster Moon watch. It's fucking really epic looking watch. It's got like a little bit of a lighter tint on the gold than you would expect. A lot of the moonshine, or a lot of these watches in this style have like a red gold or otherwise. So they have this new gold with a lot of palladium in it, which is interesting because palladium is very expensive, but it also makes it more, you know, yellow, kind of whitish. Anyway, that was the watch of the week this week on WatchQuant because it was the most liquid watch of all of them, and yet it was also very low numbers in general. Just not a lot of sell through. It's pretty rare to find people selling this watch. So that was my one. The other one is going to be the Audemars Piguet 42 millimeter chrono. It's a Royal Oak offshore, and there's a bunch of different style dials, but I like the black eyed gold dial Megatat dial. So it's like a panda, golden panda, if you will. So I'm a big fan of that, and that's what we'll be doing. Okay. And the
Awesome.
reason
Let's
I
get
chose
into it.
that is because it's like it seems to me like this watch is maybe a good deal. Maybe. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, let's get into it. Um, you want? I'll share my screen first, and we'll go through the APs first. Okay.
Let's do
So,
it.
cool. So window. Okay. So you can see yourself. There you are. Okay. So I did already do a little bit of homework here and looked up three of the best priced on eBay AP Royal Oak offshore bricks with 42 millimeters and the chrono. So it's the 26470 OR, and it is a brick, right? This is a huge watch. It's absolutely badass looking, in my opinion. It's got the chrono. It's kind of your, it's exactly what I would want. It's not the BS rubber clad buttons that are going to fall off later. They fixed that. These are like ceramic buttons. And I don't know. I really like this watch personally. I don't have it myself. I'd like to buy it, so that's why we're doing this. Anyway, so I found three listings, all of them with box papers, and all of them pre-owned. In the secondary market, most watches are pre-owned. Very rare you're going to find brand new, but this does claim to be near mint. Papers are dated 2017, so it's a 5-year-old watch. But if it's not been run, it probably doesn't require very much, if any, actual service. Okay, so this is at 78.8, or almost nine, really, $78,888 with the ability to make an offer. So we would look for potential negotiation here, probably, right? Okay, the next one is literally the same thing. No, that can't be. Yeah, it is the same thing. Sorry. Next one is a different jeweler offering the same watch, but this time we're looking at 72.5 with the best offer available. So that's a $6,000 difference. And if we scroll down to the item specifics, by the way, if you're going shopping, you should do something like this. Scroll down to the specifics, find out what's going on. Why is the price lower? Because if it's lower, it might be for a good reason. This one doesn't have the box, okay? Um, so I think I lied to you. I told you they all have boxes, right? Um, so maybe we might skip this one. We might skip this one because if it doesn't have a box, I don't know if I'm interested. The AP box is kind of hard to come by. It's like a $500 box, but let's skip that one for now and go to the next one. We have $68,999. Man, that's a nice picture though, huh? Beautiful.
Great looking watch.
Yeah, dude. I gotta get myself an AP. I'm kind of obsessed. Okay, so what do we got going on with this watch? It's also missing in the box. Okay, I wasn't paying any attention at all. So we have two watches missing boxes. This one's considerably cheaper than the other one though, which I'm a little bit weirded out by. No papers. That's why. Okay, so this one's just going to get thrown out, even though it's gorgeous. That's getting thrown out. If there's no papers, then I don't trust it, even though we have authenticity guarantee. That's my personal thing. If you believe the authenticity guarantee alone, that's you. But the other one has no box with papers. No, also no papers. Jesus. Okay, that's getting thrown out too. We're sticking with this one. My bad. 78.8. That's the lowest we have with box and papers. I'm just going to double check that real quick. We have one here. 78.8. Papers ask. That's funny. That probably says in their writing. Well, I don't want to waste too much time, but that one looks pretty good, and it's at a much closer price than what I would expect. And this one with the black dial or the rhodium dial, gorgeous watch. Oh, says the same dang thing. All right, so we will. Okay, it does have the manufacturer's box. It has the manufacturer's warranty, and that's probably all we need to say box and papers. But the box is damaged. So, okay, 78.9, and the other ones are on 78.9. So this is approximately the price. Two different dials, for my AP. For now, we threw away the ones without the box and papers. Okay, um, let's go on to you because while you're going, I'm going to go and try to find some better listings here. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Um, Let me just get my screen pulled up here. Alrighty, here we go. So we're gonna start out with um, the John Mayer Daytona, and I did some homework too. And I this is the cheapest one I could find. It does have box and papers. It's 2019. Um, as we can see, it's the green dial, 18 karat gold, yellow gold, and this is a great looking watch. I mean, I love the red accents within the chrono, um, and as we all know, this is just so hyped up after the discontinuation and everything John Mayer has said about it. Um, let's see here. Anything else we need to note? This is coming from China, so that is, take it as you will. Um, and I'm not the biggest fan of buying from China, but if it's on Chrono 24 to a degree, you gotta trust it. Um, then hopping on over, we I found one on a jeweler's website. This was just through Google Shopping, um, and it's right at the same price, $75,000. This one was 74.7. Um, same watch here. It is newer, December 2020. Box and papers, yes and yes. So we're good there. Um, and once again, it's just a beautiful watch. You got some great pictures here. Um, and this one looks really clean, really, really clean. So I'm liking the look of this one at $75,000. So we'll note that down. This one is in New York rather than China. So if it were up to me, I'd spend the 300 extra bucks on this one than waiting on shipping from China. I think they said there's significant 400 for shipping. So there you are. You're pretty much even. Last but not least, this is the cheapest authenticity guaranteed John Mayer on eBay, and we can see the price difference here, 83,992. That's a pretty significant bump. Once again, you have some great pictures. It's a beautiful watch. Few markings here and there, um, but you do have. If we scroll down here, um, we do have box and papers once again. So this is, another great option. It is a little bit higher, but this is what you would see if you were to go on eBay. Another thing to note, once again, it's the oldest one out of the three. Um, so if you're a big fan of newer watches, then that is something to consider. And let's see, what else do we need to know about these watches? I think that's it for now. Um, I can toss it back over to you, or I can take the next one. Your call.
All right, I'm going to redeem myself hopefully here
Okay.
by pulling up the other two APs that suit. Okay, so uh, we still had the original. Okay, but then we also picked up this one, which is actually a really nice picture. At 77.5 with box and papers. So awesome, ready to roll, excited. Discontinued apparently, and it is full links. Yeah, looks good. Okay, and then we also had the not that one. Sorry, this one. This one for 78.9. So basically, I don't see even any variation at all. They're all between 77 and 79 essentially. So that's where we're at with this particular watch. I could probably look at some jeweler websites. I'd be interested to find out what was that jeweler website you went to and found a John Mayer at 75. Do you mind telling me?
It was the Watch Club New York.
Dude, the Watch Club New York. Yeah, interesting thing about that's not a website. The interesting thing about John Mayer is that this week
WatchClubCo.com.
Watch Club what?
Watch Club WatchClubCo.com.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's been going down each week slowly and slowly and slowly, but it seems like maybe this week it might have really gone like that's almost a 10% move realistically if it's going to be hitting 75 consistently. If it's 75 on a retail websites, that means maybe it's going down to 70 in dealers and wholesalers or lower. Anyway, very interesting. We'll have to look through this later on. Solid gold with a yellow with a blue dial, 47. That's beautiful. Okay, cool. All right, my turn as far as going into these watches. This is the Omega Moon Watch with they call it yellow gold here, but really it's yellow gold with moonshine gold. See that green dial? This is really cool watch that I have held in my hand at the boutique and almost bought it personally, but I did not because I knew that I would walk out of the store and lose money. At least I thought so because it's $35,000 in the store, and I've seen some pretty huge prices these days. 44 on this one, right? But this one's 35,534. The next one I found was 35, basically 35.6. Okay. And yeah, just epic watch. Super, super cool. This is the watch that went to the moon. I mean, you don't need gold to go to the moon, right? But if you're in space, it's not as heavy. So what can you do? And then this one I found on Reddit. So slightly different than what we've been looking at. This is Watch Exchange, isn't it? Yes,
Mhm.
Watch Exchange. So it's one of my favorite places. I have a few transactions here. I love to check out watches here every so often. And the price was pretty sure it was around 35. Oh, wait, maybe it actually might be at 39 on this one. Let's see. Occasionally hard to find the actual price. There it is. Okay. 39,400 for this. Okay. And there you go. So 39,402 around 30, 35.6, 35.5. Basically the watch is averaging, 36 and a half, 37,000. And that's about what I'd expect based on the MSRP and some of the hype, also based on the fact that it's proven to be liquid even in the last week where pretty much everything drops in liquidity. So interesting model. And okay, I'll let you roll to the next one.
Alrighty, so we're gonna check out this Patek now. Um, it's I was seeing a lot of different prices for it online. So first, we're going to start out here at Chrono 24. Um, Currently, this watch is trading around $200,000, and we see one here listed for 190 grand. You can see there's interest in this bad boy. But this is another one of those bricks. It's solid gold all the way around, and this is 2013. So that might have to do with this price falling below the FMV by $10,000 here. But we do have original box, original papers, so we're in good hands here. This is really just a beautiful, beautiful watch. Um, Open case, so just awesome. Um, Next listing we have here is on Watch Report, and we're not too far above that, but we have 193. It's unworn condition, original box and papers. Now that's pretty legit. Um, Same watch. It looks absolutely beautiful. It looks untouched. And let's see what year this was from. Um, if we can. Maybe not, maybe not. But either way, we see a little price drop, so that may shed light on the fact that this is a pretty liquid watch, considering it is a $200,000 piece. One of the most reputable brands out there, one of the most hyped brands out there, one of the most hyped models out there, and it's solid gold. So that is kind of what you would expect from something like this. There are not many people who are going to be walking around with this on their wrist. Um, so this is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Last but not least, we are on another jeweler's website, and we see the same watch here, but it's at 212. 212 was the next cheapest listing I could find. Um, it's in stock. Um, same deal here. We do have box and papers. This is a 2017, so a little bit newer, and um, this is another great option if you're interested in it. You can see some wear around here, um, and might need a little love, but other than that, that's a beautiful, beautiful piece. That actually might just be a reflection. I can't really tell. Um, so cheapest we're at is 190, 300, and the cheapest we were at with the Daytona is, call it 75 after shipping. Um, so I believe we should hop in and take a look at WatchQuant and see what we can figure out about these watches.
All right, awesome. I'll let you go first on your first watch.
Awesome, sounds good. So I'm gonna head over to WatchQuant. Let me get this pulled up here. That is the Patek. All right, so the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona. Um, at that price point, we're going to use some of these features that we have on our app here. As you can see, this is a detailed breakdown of kind of how the watch is trading right now. So we've seen prices all the way up to 104 and as low as 68. Um, that doesn't mean everything is going to be listed down here. In fact, it's really unlikely you will find anything listed even close to here. Um, this is a wholesaler's price. So, what we should be looking to buy this at is closer to the $80,000 range. And like we saw, $75,000 is our lowest option. So, let's input that here. Um, and as you can see, automatically calculates for us the probability of breaking even. Now, this is a metric that we've developed based on a number of factors, and through our testing, we've seen it be pretty accurate. Now, if you're if you look down here, we have a profit goal. This profit goal is automatically calculated, and it says that we're targeting $87,000. That seems a little high, and we're pretty unlikely in terms of getting that price from someone, especially with these being on such a significant downtrend that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So let's try putting in the fair market value. So if we try and sell this at 83,280. Oh, we're at 1%. Okay, let's try 80,000, and we're at 1% as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
Oh,
supposed to put
oh,
in you're supposed to put in the actual margin you're looking for there.
my bad, my bad. I was confused for a
Although that
second.
makes sense too if you put in the full amount you're looking to sell it for. The
Mhm.
target. Yeah, it makes sense. We're doing
So,
QA. We're doing QA on YouTube. Let's go.
so at 10, wait. So why is it going to 75.10 now?
75. What do you mean?
Oh,
Um,
this is the profit margin
oh, I'm
target.
sorry. Yeah, profit margin in dollars.
Got it. So we should put 8,000 in here.
If you want. Yeah, if you want to. Like, I would generally, if the 15% was too much, then maybe you go for 10%, 7,500 or something like that.
Right, right. So if you see here, if we put in 10% would be 7,500 bucks. So we're a little over halfway, um, likely in order to make this money. Um, and I think the $75,000 mark is a really good price for this watch, especially coming from a jeweler's website. And I mean, at the end of the day, they might have been the one getting it at the $68,000 price point. So um, that's kind of where we are with this one now.
Yeah, a lot
There's
of those. Look, here's the thing. A lot of the time, and this is one of the things that we would love to see people try to avoid at some point in the near future. At least sometimes, I mean, you can't avoid it. Look, there's pawn shops in the world, and sometimes people just need to get to make money. And so if they came across uh, a John Mayer Daytona and they can bring it to a pawn shop and they're going to offer them $60,000, well, that person's probably not going to say no. That's a straight up fact. But even jewelers, we call it pawn factor, but really it's just like what a jeweler will probably offer you. And that really is going to be at like 60, 65, 68, knowing that they're going to be able to sell it for at least $10,000 more than that. And that'll be like an easy sale. But I am surprised to see it go so low. But yeah, realistically, that jeweler probably had somebody come in who didn't really know what's going on so much. And they were just like, yeah, well, I'll give you 60,000 for that Daytona. I mean, it's MSRP 40, right? That guy was probably really happy, and then he realized later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, why don't you show us what's going on with that AP?
All right, let's do the Omega first, and then we'll get
Okay.
into the AP. Share my screen. So, all right. So with the Omega, we have a range between 23 and 41, which seems to be about right based on what we saw on eBay. And by the way, you started mentioning this, and it's important to note the difference between one of these prices and another. The bid at 23 and the ask at 41 is basically indicative of what is the price that if you were to try to sell this watch at, that somebody would bid and say, I will buy that right away, or probably very quickly. That's bid, right? So this is what the market would say is bidding currently, like absolutely cash value. Let's go. This is what the market is asking right now for watches that already are in there, are that the market already has. So if a jeweler has this watch and you were to offer them 41,000 to buy it from them, they would almost always say yes. I mean, we saw 35 at eBay, so you might be an idiot to do so, but that's still just the point of this. So to give you a good range, first of all, anything in between this range is kind of okay, depending. But that is the purpose of the bid ask. It's what's the market currently bidding, what's the market currently asking. Okay, the fair market in the middle is not actually directly in the middle, and it probably almost never will be. And that's because this is totally based on a different thing. It's based on what is fair. It's based on what is risk 1-to-1 for the seller and the buyer at the same time. We're not going to get too far into it. The point of the matter is it's not just the midpoint between these two. So at 29.6, that's considerably lower than what we saw on eBay. So let's just do the math and make sure that we're good. So first of all, MSRP this thing at 34,000. If we were to buy it at 34,000, which is just around eBay, we would have an 8% chance of breaking even and a 6% chance of making our $39,000 final value. So I'm not cool with those numbers. So let's lower this down by 500 at a time. See how I'm just clicking down? It's lowering my check a buy price here by 500 each time I click. Slowly but surely, you see these gauges moving, right? And I'm happy when I get to the 90 point. So I'm at 90, I'm at 92 at 25,000. So that means if I were to buy this watch at $25,000, I'd have almost no downside, right? Practically 0% downside. Less than 10% of the time would I not be able to break even at 25,000, and that's three standard deviations away. It's not going to happen, or it's very rare that would happen, especially since this is a heavy gold watch. Okay. At the same time, I could make I could sell this for $4,000 more, which isn't all that much, but I could sell for $4,000 more also fairly easily with over a 58% chance of being able to successfully do so. And if I wanted to change my margin to say a full 5,000, that would go for 30,000. That'd be just around 50% as well. So I'm happy with these numbers. In other words, I'd like to buy it at 25. I'd like to sell it at 30. And I understand if it's not possible to do this today, that's okay. But based on eBay, it is not possible to do this today. We can keep looking. Now, what does this mean? What's the play here? The play for me is keep looking or move on. And, basically take a note and come back later. And by the way, we do have voice notes here and just regular notes. And so, like, come back later, put that note in, and now you see the note will be here just for me for later. Okay. So this is something that I would probably not be able to actually execute on today. But if I were to be able to execute on this, I would have super good odds, even if they got a little bit worse, right? Having 75% or 78, 69% chance of breaking even, and let's say we went for a little bit less here. We go for the 10% at 2,700, and that includes, this would be plus fees, right? So this is 2,700 total profit. I'd have 50% chance of doing that. So like there's definitely some room to play, but my optimal trade at 25,000 is probably out of the question at this moment. Cool. Anything you wanted to say about that, about the way I'm thinking about this, Gus? Because you're the economics guy, and maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong.
No, I think you're right. And I think it's important to note that because something is at has one fair market value and you can't find it for anything even close to that on eBay or Chrono 24, um, doesn't mean that it's not available at that price. It requires a level of intense looking, and you have to go on the scavenger hunt in order to find these prices at these watches. Our data is coming from a variety of different sources, and they're not just made up numbers at the end of the day. This is hard data. And so it's hard to, you got to remember, all the people who are selling on eBay are not typically individuals. They're typically businesses and brokers who are in this for the business of it. And they have a number of different paths to obtain watches for less than the fair market value. That's how they make their money. Um, so it's tough to expect that you can just go onto eBay and quick flip a watch. Part of the process is being able to develop your own path in the watch trading business, which takes time and practice.
Definitely, that's a good point. There is okay. Uh, Warren Buffett, I think he has a famous saying, something along the lines of, if you only had to make 10, he was talking to a bunch of students. He said, if you only had to make 10 trades of the rest of your life, what would it be? Could you write it down now? Or could you even handle that? Could you actually do it? Could you make only 10 trades the rest of your life? Something like that. And I think the point of that question was, hey, you know, you should only make 10 trades in the rest of your life, realistically, because you don't have to trade every day. You don't have to trade over and over and over. You need to make good deals that you know are good, that are in assets that you believe in and love and understand. Watches are a little different, right? Because these are things you might keep in a collection for years, that you might wear them, completely different than stocks. But at the end of the day, they do pay dividends in a way, and there's certainly room for growth. So not like a Warren Buffett moment, but you certainly don't have to make this trade if it's not available. Also, you can wait, and if it doesn't come along, hey, there's thousands of watches on WatchQuant, and there's hundreds of thousands of watches listed on eBay and everywhere else. So there's always more opportunities out there, guys. All right, I'm done with my moonshine. You want to go for it?
Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna head over to this Patek, um, and our lowest price was 190, 193.36, and let's see what this MSRP is at, 108. So as you can see, this is trading significantly higher than MSRP, as you'd expect with a solid gold Patek. It's not anything out of this world or something you wouldn't um, expect to see. However, this one is trading way above. So if we take a look at what's going on down here, Matt gave a pretty good explanation of oops, Marty gave a pretty good explanation of the fair market value, the bid ask spread, the low and high price, and what all of those mean. So let's check our buy price in here. 193.36. And as you can see, um, this is close to being a pretty good trade. If we could haggle with the guy on Chrono 24, negotiate a little bit, knock this down to potentially, you know, 180, 187, let's call it that, you're close to that 90% range. I mean, this one, 3 out of 4 times you're breaking even, and that typically is representative of the fact that you're more likely to even make money if you have time to sit on a watch of this caliber. There's not people buying a 5980 that's solid gold every day. Um, and it really requires the right type of person to, one, have the means to purchase this, and two, be interested in such a flashy piece. um, so those are some important things to note. Now, we already saw the other one listed on that jeweler site at 216 or at 213. Here we're saying our target final sale is at 216. So maybe if we undercut that guy and went up to 210, let's see, what would that be? Um, let's check 10%, or it would be 13,000 or 23,000. Excuse me. 34% chance. And this can change over time as some of the metrics change. Um, I think it's important to note that this is a watch you're going to be sitting on for a while. And with that, you have to be able to hold steady through some dips that may occur with this watch, but also recognize that this isn't unfairly priced at $2,010,000 or $210,000. As we can see, the ask price is 225. Um, if someone came to me today and was like, "I want to buy a Patek in the next hour, find me one," this is what I would be tossing around as a number to purchase one. And so if there's one listed for in that 200, 210, oh my gosh, $210,000 range, then you're in a pretty good spot to make some money. I think the important thing to note with a watch like this, though, is it's just going to take time.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And that's absolutely true. It's the less time you give somebody to find you the watch you're looking for, the more likely you're going to have to take ask or close to ask, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and go through that AP, which was giving me so much dang trouble before. All right, so on watchQuant, we have the AP offshore chrono, 42 millimeters, 26470 OR, which ultimately we found out was trading between basically 77 and 78,000. It was a very tight range on eBay. Is between 49 and 71. So basically, I mean, WatchQuant just doesn't believe this shit exists. It's just not believing. It's not buying it. So I'm not 100% sure why. It does give a high price of 80, so it accounts for the fact that there are prices up there. But there's definitely good reason to believe that there's going to be either some available now or some that might become available in the near future around fair market value, because that would be fair. Okay, so let's see, what would I have to do to get a good trade out of this? First, I'm going to put in a buy price. My optimal buy price would not be what were they, $78,000. Obviously, I'd like to be in this range. So I'd like to do, let's check MSRP first. 58,000, obviously. Dang, that's pretty high. So let's see where I get to when I go a bit lower. If I go down to bid at 49, Actually, 50 looks pretty good. So if I'm at 50, 52.32, I would be happy to say that I have almost no downside. So let's go a little bit higher. 57, 50 is 84% chance that I would be able to break even on a watch at 50K, even though eBay's selling it at much more. Um, the indicator that if you were to look through the eBay data is the fact that those watches are not selling. So that's one thing. Just quick secret for you. Okay, we're aiming at 58,000 here, but that's $8,000 in profit. I'd rather go for something more conservative. Let's say we want to go for $5,000, which is 10% of my buy price. Now we're looking at a pretty good trade. Okay, so if I'm able to get this watch at about 51,000 and sell it at around 55.7, then I can make 5K and uh, and I'd have a 58% chance of success at that profit margin and almost no downside risk, meaning very little chance of me losing money on this thing. Most of the time, I will break even or make money here, and so I think that this is a great trade. It's another one where I may not be able to make this trade today. Now, I think the next steps here we agreed were we were going to look through some of the available stuff in the network. So watchQuant has a dealer network, and we utilize our dealer network to allow buyers club members to basically buy watches like we're doing right now. So we help them do analysis like this, and if they find a price they're looking for, like 50,000, if it's not available, guess what? We will take note. We will keep our eye on it, and we will let them know when it is and make that purchase for them, assuming that they're verified and in the buyers club. So we have a network, and that's what we'll check right now. Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So, um, in my very short time since we started this, I didn't put a hard call out for it or anything, but I did find at least one watch close to this. I found a watch exactly what we're looking for here with the golden tap dial, so not the black tap. When I say tap, I mean that's the tapisserie. I think that's how you say it. That's how you say it. That's the beautiful dial that you see here. It's these big square hand carved kind of beautiful tapisserie um, sort of pattern. But anyway, this is the champagne or gold with the panda eyes, and it's at 61.5. But and full set. But I bet you, 'cause I know that some of these folks in on our network are putting out pretty high prices for what they can afford. So I bet you we could get it to 60. So I'm going to put this down at 60 and see how we actually get it now. I know that we were looking before and not such a good deal there. So I guess 60 would be a bad deal for us. We'd have to see things move for that to work. You'd have to get below MSRP for sure. So it looks like the highest I could probably go would be like 51.5. So we're pretty far off, unfortunately. Our network doesn't even have this at this price. So what does this mean? Well, AP's been in a slump lately. The Royal Oak offshores in particular, mostly the steel, ceramic, and titanium watches have been in serious slumps, but a lot of them have been going down at least slowly. This watch is pretty cheap between these prices. So, hey, to get the best possible trade, we're looking at the 51 to $50,000 level, going for 10% profit margin. But we could get this for 60,000. It depends on what your goals are. So that's pretty much where I am at with this watch. All right, you ready to go with the next watch?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
We're gonna head back over to the John Mayer. I don't think I need to pull up anything for this, but I'm seeing this watch sell in our network in the high 70s. So the fact over the course of the last 2 weeks, now things have changed, um, and things continuously are changing, but I still feel like this isn't a bad trade at $75,000. I feel like there's room to make money on this. I I almost see with this watch, it spiked in hype after it was discontinued. It flew up in price and then it came back down to reality pretty quickly. And so I think we might be in a little bit of an overcorrection with it. And it may be worthwhile picking it up at the $75,000 mark, because units are selling above $75,000. We see it in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, when you say units are selling, we mean units are selling in the network that we deal with, which is not exclusive to WatchQuant, but it is all wholesalers and dealers and people that do this every single day. So if there are a couple outliers out there, pick up that watch at 75, because if the dealers are buying it for 77, then they're going to be selling it for 80, 85, 90, because that's how dealers usually roll. Let me share my screen and let's analyze that trade, by the way. So you were saying that you were hoping to maybe buy it for 75.
70. Yes, sir.
Cool. So the John Mayer at 75. I mean, huge trade right there, right? Basically, hey, if we go for 10% profit margin, 10% profit margin, $7,500 on 75,000. You'd have a 92.1% chance of breaking even, which again is almost like no downside, and 58% chance of success selling it at 82.5. So not a huge delta there, not a huge profit margin, but 10% is 10%, $7,500 is $7,500. So if you do that trade, it's available today, technically. Um, you could probably do this trade by selling this a little bit more on the retail side, um, and by buying it here. So, hey, I think you found a pretty good couple watches there, man.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm very surprised to see that watch out there, for so cheap on a dealer's website. I You can only imagine that someone's losing here, or someone has lost in the past here, on pretty significant gains. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I remember when Watches and Wonders happened, which is now a couple months back, the day after I saw auctions closing at like 130.
hmm hmm
Crazy prices. So yeah, it's got to be a few guys who are just itching to get out at whatever price at this point.
yeah, sure, for sure. All right. Do you want to take a look at that Omega, or do you have any updates on the Omega?
I'm sorry. Yeah, let's do that. So the Omega, which I need to pull out real quick. We will. By the way, if you go to the front page, you don't have to click through the collections. If you want to, you may, but you can always just go straight to the search bar right here with exploration. Oops. Okay, I'm lagging out a little bit for sharing my screen. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's find it. What are we doing here? Is it dot? Dot. Where is it? I might have to actually go into the Omega bit here. Hey, thought I had it memorized, but now I don't. Oh, there's so many moon watches. This will take all day to look through, eh? All right, let's see. Is that it? I think that's it. Is that green? Can't tell if that's green or black.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sharing. Okay. Okay. So we were talking about this one around 36,000, and we have a trading range of 24, or bid ask of 24 to 43. So it's right there. Fair market's 31, so that is lower than what we saw it on eBay for. And I was only able to find, and again, I didn't take too long. We only had a couple minutes prep before we started this call because we just want to move and get out there. So you're welcome, guys. I hope that somebody finds a little bit of value in this. But anyway, I found one for 34,995. Basically, it's higher than FMV, which means it's going to not do so well here. And it's also right around MSRP. So, actually, go a little bit lower than that. So the numbers won't look too good at that particular bit. But this is also a good tool to understand how hard should you negotiate, right? Because realistically, even if our fair market is 31.2, if you feel like this watch is undervalued, or if you feel like the paradigm of the watch is, the prices are one thing, and then there's like the perception of the watch, or the potential future of the watch. If you feel like this watch has a really good future ahead of it, despite the prices today, you might be able to, in your mind, afford to take above FMV today, as long as it's below ask, for example, and say, hey, you know what? Let me negotiate down to the 32.5 level, even though I know I should be at 31. And if I do that, then I have this 34% chance. That's just a specific thing. But if because you have a good feeling about this watch in the future, that could work out well, because if you like this watch in the future, it probably will go up in the future if you're right. If you're wrong, at least you got it at not the worst price, closer to fair market value. So I'm not telling you to do this. This is not financial advice, but this tool will help you at least understand, hey, how far do I need to negotiate to get myself into a fair position, whether or not it's at fair market or otherwise, right? It's just about getting the numbers in today's numbers. But the paradigm idea, which we are working on that too, getting ratings out there to help people understand, is this watch undervalued? Is it overpriced? Is it underperforming? Right? There's all these different words mean different things, and so we will explain that as time goes on. But optimally, I would like to get this watch, at a closer to bid than, or at least, I guess it would be about halfway between bid and fair market, in order to get my optimal 90% and 50% range. So there you go, 26.4 and 58. That would be a pretty good dang price to 26.4, but not unheard of, and it's above bid, so it's happened before recently. So that's it for me. I wasn't able to find any at 24 today, or 26.4 today, but we'll keep looking.
Yeah, and I'll just give you a quick update on the Nautilus. I've been searching, haven't done any too hard of looking. Many of this watch are selling with the crocodile strap. There are not many out there with the rose gold, solid rose gold bracelet.
Mhm.
Um, and so, like we were talking about earlier, this is just a hard watch to find. It's a rare watch to find. Um, and
What was the name of the watch? I'm sorry. What's the watch?
it's a 5980.
5980. Okay. After I'm done lagging, I'll look it up. So what were you able to find?
So we found it at 190. That, yeah, that's not it. Want me to pull it up? I have it right here.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. All right. So at 190, and keep in mind this is solid gold. Um, It's a solid gold. So at the 190 listing price, you can see we're already at a 70% chance of breaking even. Now, this is where the tool comes in handy in terms of figuring out how much you should negotiate. If you're looking for that target 90 percent probability of breaking even, then, well, we can see exactly what it takes to get there. Um, if you can knock this guy down to 182,500, you're in a pretty good spot. Um, Now, if you're aiming to make, this is a heavy hitting watch. So if you're aiming to make $10,000 on it, well, you have an 84% chance of doing so. If you want to make $18,000 on it, which is 10%, then you're looking at about 58% chance of making money. So that's how we use this tool. We use this tool to figure out how to start our trades, where the initial place or numbers to be looking at for each watch listing, what those numbers are in order to make the most probable trades that will make money.
For sure, for sure. It's an old model used by the derivatives traders for a long time now that we have co-opted and decided that watches would be a good idea to try here as well. So far so good.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
Thanks to my quant here, Gustavo.
Yeah, it's been fun. We've been having a good time with messing around with these numbers and taking away interesting insights into the whole market as it is.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to come to you with more stuff like this. Let us know what you think. Give us some comments down below. And if you like anything about this, learning about watches, come back and watch the next one. And hey, we'll see you then. Thanks, Gustavo.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right.
Peace.
Take care. Bye bye.